going to be starting down here in the bottom right-hand side of the map. On top of the yellow Terran, he is Team Liquid's very own Kelazhur.
In the upper left, in the purple, the man of many names, the best player in Latin America for years now, Precise Storm, it's SpeCial.
So, Behemoth, those in-base locations for the third, I feel like third bases are oftentimes kind of like a big target. Even in TVT, we sometimes see Terran players who say, yes, I'll take my 2 bases and stuff, but when they start getting up to the third base, that's oftentimes what maybe ends up getting sieged up or something. I actually think having the ability to just take a third base in a safe location if you really want to, and then maybe take like a fast fourth after that to make up for the fact that it's, you know, not as strong of a economic lead to just take that safer location with only a single gas geyser and stuff. It really does make it pretty interesting. It makes it feel like in TVT, you can maybe set up a little bit more defensively than you otherwise would be able to.
Yeah, I've been making this argument about the map for a little bit, where one of the reasons that Moondance is good is that you have this less mineral base, but because Terrans have mules, at least until you get full saturation on 4 bases or something, that matters less for a Terran than it does for any other race. They can mule it. A mule is like SCV and a half, and it kind of works out to being almost a full base. That doesn't matter as much here, but it does mean you can go into 4 bases really quickly, as you were saying. And I know you say, 3 base, kind of the inflection point. I don't know. For me, it feels like it's more 4. But the other interesting thing is, you mentioned with this gas, Terrans in general don't really care about their gas. I mean, if they're playing mech, sure, but in general, they don't care about their gas. TVT, that's a little bit different because you focus on your tank production so heavily on these high gas, these Ravens, things like that, that I don't know that it's necessarily going to make or break, but it does provide that extra incentive to maybe even expand to the 4th base just a little bit faster. Or, again, take that pocket base as something that is, well, maybe you take it a little bit later. The other thing, though, that I think is actually rather interesting, Ravi, I don't know if you remember, I forget who actually did this interview in Valencia, but they were talking about how, you know, they didn't like Moondance because they like new maps and like weird maps and maps that play differently, and they just didn't feel like Moondance was all that novel of a map.
I think
like, okay,
that is so funny to me, but I guess we'll, you know, I do think that that's quite funny because it's just one, to me, one of, not necessarily a super novel map, but by the way, nice Reaper damage, being able to pick off 2 SCVs during all this and also just get a firm scat out on exactly what he's going to be up against there is nice. But yeah, it is really, really funny when players say things like that. I'm like, when was the last time we saw a map that had a pocket third? Like, we've had pocket naturals and stuff, but even that, it's been like years since we've seen pocket naturals.
Although I have seen the rare build, Beyond in particular, that does this. Looks like SpeCial's Hellion's going to get at least delay the command center for a little bit. But Reaper's on the main base from Kelazhur. He's got a lot more here. 3 workers are going to go down, make it 4. That should be the extent of things. Yeah, maybe he gets, he's gonna get 7. Hellion's on the main base as well. We talk about Kelazhur having, well, no one beats Kelazhur 9 times in a row, and he's certainly getting started here. 11 SCVs. This is game-breaking damage here, Fear Dragon. SpeCial's got a lot to answer for. It's 13 purple SCVs at the deck.
Yeah, Kelazhur's not exactly going to be frowning right now. I think he's going to have a big old smile on his face after that. That was ridiculous. Those Hellions were not supposed to be able to get into the main base to complement the Reapers and everything, but I think it was a combination of SpeCial trying to micro his Hellions at Kelazhur's natural, and also trying to defend against the Reapers and pull his units into the right position in the main base. And then I think the Hellions just completely caught him by surprise. Like, he didn't expect them to just run straight in past the supply depots, so he didn't raise them in time. Kelazhur doing a great job, I would say, like in just literally the multi-pronged situation. Now there's a lot of onus on SpeCial to actually counteract some of the damage he just took.
Oh, that was sexy from SpeCial there. I don't know that it's going to work out, but notice he sends the Banshee in. He says, yes, lock onto my Banshee with your Cyclone. And then he moves in with the Cyclones to try to get the positive lock on there. But Kelazhur on top of things, he repairs the Cyclone, he pulls it back, he does not lose it. And because the Cyclone stays alive, there's no way that SpeCial can get the aggression that he would have liked. So at the end of the day, yeah, he gets like another SCV or 2, but it really does not balance out the damage that he took. But I also want to point out, you talked, Ravi, about how those Hellions were not supposed to find their way in the main base. It was only 2 Hellions. it takes 2 volleys to kill SCVs at that point. So even if they found their way in the main, they were not supposed to get that much damage.
Yeah, I'm in full agreement with you. It really seemed like Special was maybe just getting pulled apart from too many different sides all at once. So really well done there by Kelazhur. He's even going to be able to take that pocket third that we were talking so much about. You can already see that's kind of the difference in where these two players' overall production and stuff is. Special is still just kind of on that standard 1-1-1 setup that Kelazhur also has. It's just that Kelazhur now has that plus a third base finished up, and also slightly faster siege tank production. So things are just going all up Diego right now.
Everything's turning up Diego. Well, I'm kind of curious though, as we look at, okay, I was gonna say, are we gonna see Special take the forward third because you mine a little more efficiently to try to catch up? But we got a second starport on the way. I talked about this as we were getting started about how this new thing that Kelazhur has shown us, where you get double starport, you just win the Viking battle so hard that it becomes very difficult for the opponent Terran to do anything, and it's often it's a 2 or 2.5 base all in almost. Well, Special, he's got to go all in. He's got to find something. He's so far down economically. Why not drop that second starport? Why not dominate the sky super hard and then invalidate any sort of defense that Kelazhur has?
Yeah, definitely a lot of onus on Special to make something happen, because the longer this game goes on now, the absolute worst it's going to get. Nice little supply block there. It may not seem like the biggest deal since Kelazhur will have supply depots finishing up, but I mean, this is all coming as the move out is happening for Special. So that extra round of reinforcements being even just a little bit delayed here for Kelazhur is actually going to be pretty impactful, since it's right now that he needs those units. Every single unit that Kelazhur can muster is going to be so important to get out right now.
We also got to point out here, a majority or a significant amount of Kelazhur's army supply is in these Marines, which guess what? There's no stim. There's no 1-1. We don't even really have medevacs, which granted, you want Vikings right now, not medevacs anyways. But the point being, a significant component of Kelazhur's relatively healthy army supply is in units that are not going to be engaged in this coming push. But the Vikings run forward, getting a lot of damage. There is not a lot of anti-air here for Special. Yes, he has the Vikings, but so long as Kelazhur's able to keep his Viking count somewhat happy, and those are some free Vikings on the left side if Kelazhur sees it, which he doesn't at the moment. Oh yeah, there we go. He's gonna get one, but now he's got to run back because the Viking count's starting to get a little bit bigger. And now Kelazhur, this is where things get scary because the Ravens can run in. They can look to disable these tanks, and that's the moment Special's going to be looking for.
Oh, I love the usage of the Banshee to just pick away at the siege tanks, not even needing the interference matrix, since, well, that really ends up, the interference matrix just makes you commit to going in. The Banshee is just a nice way to gradually pick away at the siege tank count and maybe open up some opportunities here and there. Remember that there is still a timer for Special, so it's nice that he's getting a nice little setup over here, but he actually has to get something done. Special is actually going to be up against Kelazhur, who's trying to break out over here as Stim is now completed. He tries to dive on forward. His Marines stutter stepping forward. He gets in on top of so many of these siege tanks. Vikings end up landing and are going to be able to push the Marines back. Did Kelazhur do enough over there? He's sitting up 20 workers, but that also means he's actually down quite a bit in army supply when they're even.
That was a bit clumsy there from Kelazhur moving in. All of his Marines, I think Stim was done. They all got kind of clumped around the tanks, and then suddenly it's like, okay, well, you're tanking so many tank shots from the tanks on the right side, and Kelazhur was not able to run through before the disable finished. So now we're sitting at a purple Terran who has 8 Vikings versus he's got 2, but they're never going to be in the air. They're not really super relevant. And this pressure for Special continues. Kelazhur did a decent job, but if he had spread his Marines out a little bit better, I think he would have actually been able to break out, and I love this from Special now. He has unquestioned air dominance. There are Liberators on the way.
Yeah, that's going to be extremely helpful. Now, Kelazhur does still have Stim and combat shields. There is still a massive timer over here from Special to get something done, unless he just wants to transition straight out into all-out mech at this point, because yes, he has a third base on the way, and he is getting up another factory that's going to be big. He does not have Stim or combat shields on the way. He's going to be unbelievably far behind in that regard. So I think he probably, if he has to continue playing this game out, he might just make that full transition to mech. But so far, he is finding a lot of damage to these Liberators.
Yeah, this is mech from Special. We can consider even just getting this amount of Viking as kind of like a Sky Mech, Sky Terran idea, but no, this is absolutely mech from Special here, and that is the read that Kelazhur has as well. He has concussive shells. That's the game he's playing. But ooh, Vikings, they're in a little bit of an awkward scenario right now. Marine's going to try to knock as many as they can down. And yeah, SpeCial's going to do what he can to delay the fourth base from going up. But now, Kelazhur, he's got a double drop on the left side out on the map. And yeah, he doesn't want to lose those medevacs, but he has Army available for a flank right now. Viking count is not super close, but here we go. The break from Kelazhur attempted. Army coming in from the left a little bit more, but is it enough? 20 SCVs have fallen thus far. Liberators are in hell from above, but the Bio's going to be able to run right on through. Yes, 24 SCVs have died, but the Vikings, they're starting to fall. The question, though, these Liberators, I don't know that Kelazhur has enough for Marines to really get on top of them, but there they go, unsieged. The entire ground army of SpeCial's dead. Kelazhur's got his fourth base on the way, but he now finds himself down about 10 workers compared to the significant economic lead he had earlier.
I really wonder what's the play here for Kelazhur now, because he's got 1-1 upgrades. He still has a scary force. I mean, he's got not only a couple of siege tanks, but he has bio with a couple of medevacs out. I feel like it might just be go time to put some pressure on. At a minimum, deny a fourth base, but I mean, it's a mech army, right, for SpeCial. Yes, he has a lot of Vikings, but Vikings are not exactly what you want to have to land on the ground to fight to protect your siege tanks. There's nothing else, though. There's nothing but siege tanks on the ground.
Yeah, I agree. I think Kelazhur can just get right on top of this. It's only 3 tanks sieged up. There we go. Fourth base is going to get canceled to start, but oh, Kelazhur here with all these Marauders. Look at the tanks. They're just getting knocked down. SpeCial, the all-in did not work. Kelazhur did too much damage, and that's the third map Kelazhur has taken from SpeCial in the last 2 years.
That is super impressive. And I actually want to say, like, Kelazhur obviously did a great job. This is already like a really fantastic result, like a great start for Kelazhur. I do want to actually compliment SpeCial really quickly here, because a game that started off that poorly for SpeCial, he still made it look like Kelazhur may have been in a little bit of trouble. Like that already is really impressive for SpeCial. I love the adaptation there from him to just basically say, like, okay, this is a bad spot. What's the best possible way I could try to recover this game? And he did have like a plan, and it almost ended up working out. Great job by Kelazhur to actually still prevent that from happening. But I mean, yeah, like I don't think that kind of start is something Kelazhur should expect to happen in the rest of the series.
Yeah, that was kind of odd. That's certainly not the damage you expect, but it's kind of interesting. So I've seen SpeCial do this build a bunch of times now. He did it to Clem in DreamHack Valencia. He's done it to Bjorn in online cups. And while this has worked, this build, this double starport Viking mech all in, worked out for Kelazhur very well when he was playing in DreamHack Latin America. I don't think I've seen it work for SpeCial just yet. It's clearly powerful, and we saw it work, but I don't think I've seen SpeCial actually win with it yet. So I don't know, maybe that's a lack of understanding, lack of the maybe understanding of the total intricacies of the build. Maybe it's just SpeCial does it when he's kind of in a bad spot and then he's already trying to make a comeback happen. But I don't know if we're going to see that again this series. What I do know is we have a much bigger map, a much more standard map. I'm not sure that there are too many standard maps in the pool. It's going to be Cosmic Sapphires for map 2, Ravi, and I like gold bases.
Yeah, there are in fact gold bases and stuff on this kind of map where there's at least a single one in the bottom left. I mean, I can't think of a crazy number of TVTs I've seen where I see the gold bases taken over here, but you know what? It definitely happen here or there, especially if we end up seeing, I don't know, some funky situation where it's like mech versus bio again or something. But yeah, I feel like that last game was just a little bit of a wonky, weird one where SpeCial was playing a little bit of adaptation mode, and Kelazhur was probably just saying, well, how do I maintain my lead and stuff? I'm looking forward to seeing how this second map is going to play out, because I think it's going to be maybe a little bit more telling of how, like, if we end up needing to go to a game number 3, it might be a little bit more telling of kind of what the game scape or the scope of the game will kind of look like. So should be a fun one.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for it. And Tropical Sacrifice, or not, we're not on Tropical Sacrifice. Cosmic Sapphire is such an interesting map, especially if TVT goes late as it's want to because of sensor towers and tanks and things like that. You have an unequal number of bases. You have that gold on the bottom left that does force engagement. So I'm curious to see how these players are going to handle it. But for now, well, we're into the game. We don't have to guess anymore. And in the bottom right, but quickly, not even there, in the purple, it's SpeCial.
And up here in the top left, our TeamLiquid player currently sitting up 1-0 versus one of his arch rivals. It is Kelazhur. Diego Schwimmer.
Game paused.
All right. Quick pause coming out. Looks like special. Gonna be figuring out his latency situation here as we
That's unfortunate.
yeah. I believe we're on like so we're on the NA server. This is US East that we're playing on, which is funny though because Kelazhur's playing from Europe, so theoretically it should actually be like a server that Special should feel a little more comfortable on playing from Latin America. But yeah, because sometimes your routing just does not work out how you want it to.
Yeah, it's this fun time where if you're, I don't know how much you've done the Korean broadcasts, but or like when you're going on the Korean server and suddenly it goes, we're gonna do 4,000 ping because I guess a whale did a counterclockwise barrel roll over the cables, and we all know that barrels have to do clockwise barrel rolls over the cables to make sure the internet goes properly. So it snaggled a little bit, and sometimes you just get random lag spikes.
Yeah, it's been known to happen, unfortunately, but I'm sure they'll figure it out as well in this game, and we'll be able to resume the game and stuff. But I mean, we did have that good old SCV movement across the map there, so I'm curious what Special's got planned for us if he's getting some hyper 12 SCV supply scouting out, or if he's planning to throw up some little proxy shenanigans. It's just the one SCV though, I think, right?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
No, there's a second SCV. It's following far behind. That may just be a fake scout. So
Okay.
we
Gotcha.
don't have any gas taken just yet. Too early right there. So Ravi, I'm going to ask you: Is
Mhm.
Proxy 1 base or 1 Rax Reaper, Proxy 2 Rax Reaper, Proxy Marauder, or we don't really see 3 Rax? Is it How many barracks? Is it Marauders or Reapers?
I mean, I thought it was going to be Proxy 2 Rex Reaper, but I am a little iffy on the exact timing of the gas. I think that maybe we'll see Special, like he's around the time that he should be thinking about taking the gas geysers. But again, I am not a Terran expert here, so I could not tell you the exact timestamp you're supposed to get things out at. But this, I mean, Proxy. I think usually in TVT we end up seeing Proxy 2 Rex Reaper. Think he can do Proxy 1 Rex Reaper, but yeah, it's usually 2 Rex Reaper or it'll be like Proxy Marauder.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's the funny euthermal stuff where he goes and he proxies 1 barracks but builds a barracks back at home and it's like, look at me, I'm just doing a Reaper expand. Not really.
Yeah, well, Euthermal has an entire YouTube channel if you want to find meme builds. And they can be pretty effective as well. So
yeah, I haven't seen the video yet, but I've heard the rumors of the Penguin Brothers build, and I just appreciate the name for that. It's like Marauders and Hellbats, they waddle. It works.
yeah, I heavily recommend checking out some of those Penguin Brother videos from Euthermal's YouTube. But all right, guys, we are going to be heading into the game. Looks like the latency has dwindled down. We got our SCV going to be building nothing other than a barracks here. Literally, you could make a barracks or you could make a supply depot here. It seems more sensible to build the barracks here. And there's the gas also coming up back at home for Special. Second SCV also arriving as well. Kelazhur, when is he going to get his own scouting information? He is going for his own double gas opening here.
In fairness, Ravi, the barracks double gas factory is just the build that you do in the matchup right now, in part because it killed or it totally cut out the cycle of suck that we had in TVT openings where Reaper Expand was better than Gas First was better than Proxy Reaper was better than Reaper Expand. And this just said, okay, I'm not as greedy as a Reaper Expand, but also I handle the shenanigans of a Gas First or something even better. So because of this, you get your factory up well enough, you're able to get Hellions out quickly enough that, this might get some damage from Special, absolutely. But you technically should have Hellions out in time to make that happen. Is now Kelazhur getting the scout, seeing A, the gas timing, B, there is no barracks there. But I feel like he delayed his factory by about 30 gas, and that will slow down the Hellion, that will slow down or increase the amount of time that his SCV is vulnerable to get canceled. And then, of course, delaying or get killed to delay the factory even more. So Special, his Reapers are out now. Let's see how much he can get done before the Hellions are out and this is truly shut down. Oh, that's a good scout from Kelazhur.
Yeah, identifies the exact location of that, but he loses a little bit of the 50-50 because as Kelazhur, you don't know where the first Reaper or the first 2 Reapers are going to pop in from. So you kind of just have to play a little bit of a 50-50 game. Do you put it by the Reaper Cliff or do you put it by the ramp? And he loses the first 50-50. The second 50-50, I mean, the SCVs are getting some good damage done. He kills one of the Reapers, but loses his own. I think that's okay for now, but he's going to end up losing USCVs over here. Can he get another Reaper? This would be big. He is able to get it. Oh, that is such a big win there for Kelazhur.
This is effectively held now. The Hellion is mostly out, it will be out by the time that the additional Reapers arrive. And that was just really unfortunate from SpeCial. He did not click on his opponent's Reaper. Instead, he clicked. And then the SCVs they targeted, or the Reapers targeted SCVs. So the SCVs, they ate so much damage there. That was supposed to kill. There is not a world where that Reaper should have survived from Kelazhur and gotten one of the Reapers of SpeCial. It's 2 versus 1. The economy of scale says otherwise, because SpeCial clicked and he aggroed on SCVs too early. This is Kelazhur, he's got his natural on the way. This is just, SpeCial should not be able to get much more done here.
Yeah, there's one kind of annoying thing here that the Reapers can still do, which is abusing a little Reaper hop-up cliff, because, you know, the Hellions can move down to the low ground and try and chase those Reapers back, but the Reapers could theoretically still hop up into the main, so Kelazhur had to be a little bit respectful of it for the earlier portion, but now that we have more units popping on out, we see that most of the Reapers have just retreated back. We got the Cyclone upgrade coming on out, but there's just not enough over here for SpeCial to actually defend his low ground. So his natural expansion is going to get delayed until theoretically pretty much the Cyclone finishes. Kelazhur can continue to deny the natural from actually being taken. That's a long delay compared to his own command center.
Matt, it is, but it's funny. You talk about that Magfield thing. This is just how SpeCial builds out of Proxy 2-Rex. He has his own TVT meta that sometimes works really well. He almost knocked out Clem. He almost knocked Clem out of DreamHack Valencia, and sometimes it just really doesn't work out all that well. But look at this concave Kelazhur's got. That being said, Cyclones are here, and Reapers and Hellions do not kill Cyclones all that well. And there are just enough Reapers back at home that Kelazhur, he can kill the Reapers just fine, but the Cyclones, he's going to hesitate just a moment. But now with the addition of a couple more Reapers, more Hellions, he's going to dive on in, and the grenades are well placed here for Kelazhur, but so too for SpeCial. He's going to force it out. He's going to trade Reapers for Reapers, but here we go. The Hellions, they're still alive. That Cyclone is so damn low. It has to run back, has to retreat, and now Kelazhur, he's going to get the Cyclone. He will, just barely. And is he going to get any more SCVs? Looks like maybe one more shot, 2 SCVs fall. But considering the situation where Kelazhur's natural is just faster, well, it's going to take a moment for him to kill the barracks, but he is going to have his orbital much faster. He kills a couple more SCVs. Everything's turning up roses here for the international Terran player.
He is just microing his heart out right now. He has been doing such a great job in this series with the micro, and it really feels like he's been getting the better end of these early game trades. Now, Cyclone moving across the map. Remember, that's with Magfield Accelerator completed. Also have it picking off the SCV building the bunker. There's a few more SCVs around over here, but the auto turret energy has to be used. That's a little unfortunate. The Marine is actually going to be able to kill off another SCV. Seems like SpeCial is able to fire back in more than one way over here. Finally, I think the siege tank sieging up should put an end to most of this. Even the Marines should not be able to do too much more over here, but really like that little play there from SpeCial. It really feels like he was able to delay this command center, pick up a couple SCV kills, burn some Raven energy. That really gives me a lot more confidence about kind of awkward trades he took earlier on.
It's still a little awkward here for SpeCial. He's not quite where he would like to be, but that did a decent job of at least, you know, making him a little bit happier in this game. But Ravi, imagine this game if that third Cyclone had been alive. If Kelazhur had not been able to snipe it going in. I mean, maybe Kelazhur would have had more stuff defensively, and maybe the calculus is different, but at 3 Cyclones, I think they bust that bunker down really quickly. I think they are able to really find their way in and make something happen. So good job from Kelazhur for just nipping that one in the bud. So yeah, you don't get that number of Cyclones, but SpeCial building more. He has some Widow Mines randomly on the map too. It's weird. We've actually started to see a lot more Widow Mine play in some players' TVT as of late.
Yeah, and the Terran players really love doing the Widow Mines at random positions on the map. And your Raven, you're not looking at it, just moving across the map innocently, trying to do some auto harassment, and boom, it runs into some Widow Mines. And suddenly they're softened up. Suddenly it's a lot more dangerous to be around out on the map with them. So see that Kelazhur has just pulled back with his Ravens. He's actually getting ready to move out to his third base location and might encounter these Widow Mines with his Ravens.
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna be okay for now. Funnily enough, again, Kelazhur's not going back here. SpeCial is. But funnily enough, when we look at how things go, Vindicta in in TVT mech versus mech, he argues that you do, and Special's the same way. They'll get a lot of Widow Mines. They'll go up to significant Widow Mine counts with Drilling Claws in the late game, and they'll just aggressively burrow them on things to force unsieges, or really to deal with this Sky Terran. It's a thing. It's not just a meme. And the Cyclone's there. They knock a Viking down. That's going to be nice. So Widow Mine got a Marine. Okay, that's really not all that much. The Cyclones, of course, this paltry Cyclone force of what will eventually be 5 Cyclones when they come together, or I guess they're off the side. The goal is to snipe a command center. I don't know that they're ever going to get that, but that is your traditional 2-base goal, and now that they didn't get that, they're going to have to look for something else. I mean, you talk about sniping Ravens with Widow Mines. Well, Cyclone's doing a good job of that as well. As that Cyclone is not. Those are dreams. Those are not memes.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be tough. It's just Cyclones really see a massive fall off in TVT. As soon as you start getting up to a handful number of those siege tanks, Cyclones just disappear so quickly. And we actually see that there's really not any additional Cyclones being made right now. Even with all the factories and stuff starting to finish up their add-ons, the reactors, tech labs and stuff, it really is just more siege tanks being made now for Special. So he's getting his little transition set up. This is definitely one of those maps, though, where you're spread out in trying to get over to your 3rd base location. So Kelazhur has to cover a lot of ground with those siege tanks. That's maybe where the siege or the Cyclones get something done. But at the moment, I feel like Kelazhur's pretty well covered.
I do want to point out, though, Special, because he feels confident in the aggression he's been able to put on, kind of pinning Kelazhur back a little bit. Special's gone ahead and from an economic disadvantage where he's sitting down a couple workers with the damage he got, but also he's got his 4th base done. It's a halfway into a planetary. 4th command center for Kelazhur is just barely there. And this is something that Special is so incredibly good at as we move into mid and late game TVT. He, much like Ryung, has such a good understanding of how well he can expand and how quickly he can expand. And just in a counter to what traditional mech TVT is, or mech versus bio, he often finds himself a base or 2 bases up on the bio Terran player, which just feels really weird, and it puts so much pressure on Kelazhur to be aggressive.
It's definitely going to be annoying, and Kelazhur is getting ready for a move out, so it's going to be well timed in that case. Well, SCV is going to have to retreat out of here from the natural. You need to probably rally a couple of Marines over there, but Kelazhur is still not going to be stopped. He's not going to be delayed. He's still moving across the map. Goes through the interference matrix on both of the siege tanks. Missile turret's going to start damaging those Ravens. One of the Ravens ends up falling over here. The Bioforce runs into the siege tanks. That plus the planetary is going to do a lot of damage to Kelazhur's army, but Kelazhur is in range of the planetary. Special has to defend this.
That he does. He's going to try to do it right now. The Biostim is forward. Vikings reigning supreme here, but the tanks of Special, they all go down. And what, are Hellions supposed to kill this? Not really. It will be the Vikings here. So already we see Kelazhur unsieging, trying to take the best possible trade. SCVs are going to get pulled. It looks like the tank count of Kelazhur will be dealt with. But 3 SCVs, actually it's only going to be 3 SCVs. Not a lot here. Great SCV pulls. Give me a little more now. Is there any bio? Yes, there is. Vikings are going to land. They shred SCVs. 2 of these tanks stay alive. And we're starting to see it really snowball for the Bioterror. And here, 66 army supplied to 23 tanks still alive to siege up this planetary. And as these 1-1 Marines, 1-1 Marauders find their way forward, Kelazhur has air superiority. He can find the tanks. He can snipe them down. Special's got to run. SCV's getting re-pulled here. He is in so much trouble. And no, the tanks, they're going on down. We talked about no one beats Kelazhur 9 times in a row. That looks like that will be the case here. Kelazhur massively ahead in supply. 20 SCVs have fallen. He breaks the curse. Not yet. No GG just yet, but he is so damn close to breaking the curse here. Special 3rd base is broken. He does not have an economy. Well, actually, Special's on 71 workers, even losing 20. Maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself.
I mean, I think it actually goes a little bit of testament to say that so much of his supply is just in workers right now. He's barely got an army, and Kelazhur is going to be pushing on forward, moving into the natural. The Bioforce is getting low, but they're still going to be able to snipe off these siege tanks. And this is the problem with mech. It takes too long to replenish that army. 3 siege tanks and a couple of Hellions on the way, but it takes so long to get out all those units. Kelazhur already shut down one of the bases. I'd love if he started segmenting off a few units to the other side, but there it is. The tap out, and Kelazhur takes a 2-0.